Good day, spiritual artists. This is CJ Miller, the host of the Spiritual Artist Podcast. I wanted to share kind of what I'm going through this morning because I think it would help you. And ironically, I find that when I focus on others, it helps me myself. So I did something that I should never, ever, ever do first thing this morning. I picked up my phone first. And I always tell people that it's best to do a spiritual practice, read something inspiring, sit quietly, have your coffee or tea in the morning, and don't look outward at the media. But I don't always listen to my own best advice. And I picked up my phone. And what happened was I realized that I had looked at something on Instagram. It was an artist that I follow. And of course, they were posting a great show that they just had and how successful they were. And it triggered me. That's right. It triggered me. I suddenly thought and had this incredible feeling, this emotional feeling of I'm not enough. That there's people out there that find what they're doing so easy and their expression is coming so successfully and they're selling lots of paintings and they're having big grand shows and they have huge followers and all those things that we think we see from an outside perspective. And I had this incredible feeling of despondency. Um, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. Why do I do this? All this incredible feeling. And so I had to do what I always recommend to my listeners to do. I had to pull out my toolbox. I had to pull out my toolbox and process my way through this feeling. The feeling was one of not good enough, not great enough, can't compete with what's out there. There's always someone better. I don't really know what I'm doing. All those things kind of wrapped up in some ugly ball. So if you're feeling that today, or if you have this challenge, I want you to follow along with me. And I'm going to tell you how I process through this, and I'm still processing through it. So the first thing I do when I'm having such a feeling is I think to myself, what is behind the feeling? That's right. What is the spiritual truth behind the feeling? So the feeling was one of not good enough, can't compete with what's out there, just not really a place. So the spiritual truth, I have to kind of sometimes go toward nature to find the spiritual truth of what I need to know about the situation. So I sat quietly, and of course, I immediately put the phone down and I felt the emotion. I felt it. And I took a deep breath and I focused on the light coming through the window and hitting across the dining room floor. It's beautiful morning light that comes in. And I sat there and I focused on, why am I feeling this way? And I realized that I was some subconscious messaging in me was saying, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. And so I have to look, and I did. I looked out the window to see and remind myself of the spiritual truth, the spiritual harmony. And when I look out the window, I see a world that is not perfect. One of my oak trees has some dead limbs in it from a recent storm. And yet, that oak tree stands tall and it keeps progressing. And there is a uniqueness to that oak tree, and it has its purpose. It has its purpose. And so I look outside and I look at nature and I realize that there's a blue jay that is flying down to that oak tree because that oak tree is serving a purpose. It has some acorns on it. The crow can find food. It can forage. I'm sorry, the blue jay can find food and forage. And there is a harmony to everything. The blue jay is not the same as an oak tree. And if the blue jay sat there and said, gee, why am I not as strong and sturdy as the oak tree? That is breaking a spiritual truth. The spiritual truth is that each and every one of us has a unique creative DNA, a unique pattern to share with the world. The flexibility of that blue jay, the fact that it can fly, that it can jump from tree to tree is one of its unique features. The oak, rather, has the sturdiness of rooting into the ground and holding itself upright. They both serve a purpose, and it's very different. And it would be incredibly foolish Let me repeat that. It would be incredibly foolish for the blue jay to be jealous or feel insufficient to the oak tree. Likewise, it would be silly for the oak tree to feel insufficient to the blue jay. And we can get even more specific. There are different types of trees out there. So some of you might say, well, Chris, that's a little different. You're comparing yourself with other artists, and you're all artists, but we're all different. Each artist has a different gift and a different, let me say that again, just a different gift to share with the world. And so when I look out my window, I see that this strong oak tree is very different from the willow that is growing down in the creek. There is a wavy, willowy tree that grows down to the creek, and it blows and moves with the wind. And because it's so flexible, it can grow in the creek. The oak tree couldn't. The oak tree could not grow there, but the willow can. Both trees, but both with very unique, different creative DNA. And so I thought back to my situation here, and I realized that I must appreciate the beautiful successes of all those around me and how each and every one of us as artists express ourselves in different ways. And that the truth of the situation is I have nothing to be insecure about or sad about or feel less than about, for I have my own unique creative DNA as an artist. And what I bring to a canvas is going to be certainly different from every single other artist out there. So if you ever feel this insecurity, not good enough, realize you are here. And if you are here, you are good enough. The universe has brought you here for a purpose. Spirit has brought you here for a purpose. Creative intelligence has brought you here for a purpose. And so I breathed that in as I sat there. I breathed that in, that knowing, that realignment. And so if you feel that way, I'd like to share this brief meditation with you of how I do what I call a spiritual declaration to realign myself with the truth that I am unique and creative and I have something to give to the world, and it is all coming out in perfect time. So join me on this brief meditation. If you are not driving your car, or if you have a moment to sit down and take 2 minutes to listen to this spiritual declaration of your truth. So sit down, close your eyes, and join me and go within. Knowing this, I know that there is a creative intelligence that operates through all things that surround me. This creative intelligence works through the oak tree, the willow, and the blue jay. This creative intelligence is flexible and different and diverse. It's flexible, different, and diverse. It works through all things, this creative intelligence. It is always expanding outward, seeking more and more good. And the expression of good is constantly expanding in the oak tree, in the willow, and in the blue jay. And it is expanding in me. And this creative intelligence is all present, all knowing. It's eternal. It cannot be threatened. It changes form constantly, but that spiritual essence, the spiritual essence of creative intelligence, that power is always there, always strong. And I know that that power, that essence, that unique quality of spiritual intelligence is within me, and that I have all those same attributes. I have unique creative DNA that will serve me. I have a unique message to share with the world. I am valuable. I am valuable as I am. And I know that as I approach the day, I speak these words for you and me alike. As we approach this day, we recognize how we are valuable, how we are special, and what gift we have to bring to the world. And we know that we don't have to fight or strive or compete. We just know that by simply being quiet, being present, listening to that voice within, we will be our unique creative expression. And we know that that unique creative expression is uncomparable. It is totally of itself individualized expression of spirit. And so whatever I do today and whatever you do today will be totally in that space of knowing that you are valuable. You have a gift to share the world, and what you are is totally unique and totally special. You have a gift to share with the world. There is no lack. You are full and complete. You are perfect as you are now because you are here now. And creative intelligence brought you forth into this world, into this manifestation, so that you can do what is right for you, right and perfect for you. And so as you proceed into the art studio, into the office, into your life, into your family, today I'm going to just be me. And I know and I am confident that what I have to give and what I share with the world is valuable. I know that what I have to share with the world is valuable and special, and I do it with joy, and I do it with confidence, and I do it with pleasure because this is what I have to give. Just let that sink in for a minute. What I am is unique and special, and this is the gift I have to share with the world. So I'm very thankful that I can share this with you, that I can share this spiritual declaration with you, that we can affirm the truth, that when we look out at nature, when we look at the world around us, we know this is true, that each and every one of us is special and unique. And I'm so glad that I can share this with you, that each and every one of us is special and unique. And so I release this declaration out knowing that it is already done. I have already shifted my energy from lack to abundance, from less to more. I have shifted and I release this into the spiritual law. And so it is. So thank you for joining me on this morning expression. Thank you for helping me realign my spiritual truth. And I'm ready to go back into my life and realize that whatever I do, and when I pick up that brush, it will be my special, unique contribution to the world. Have a great day. Thanks for following the Spiritual Artist Podcast. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye. Thanks again for listening to the Spiritual Artist Podcast. Whether you're watching this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or iHeartRadio, make sure you choose the subscribe button so that you will receive updates when new segments are released. Most importantly, be still, listen, and know that you are a spiritual artist.